Hello, Vanakkam and welcome to Kiska brand Bajega Marketing All Stars. Today in the Legacy launch, we have the pleasure of chatting with an exceptional marketer who boasts an impressive 27 years of experience in marketing and sales. He earned over 30 awards, including Advertiser of the Year in 2020 and Marketer of the Year in the home care sector in 2016. With an illustrious career spanning companies like Nestle, Colgate, Godrej, General Electric, HD Media and Godrej Consumer Products. He currently serves as the President Head of Marketing at UltraTech Cements. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ajay Dang.
Thank you so much.
So you have traveled a lot of places to keep on, roam around the globe. One thing that has remained constant and one thing that have changed with respect to marketing approaches, you can say throughout this 27 years of journey.
I think lots of things have changed and you've just made me feel slightly old, 27 years. In fact, I think Jeff Bezos, somebody asked him this question as to what is going to change in the next 10 years. And he also said, I think the more important question or more interesting question is what is not going to change. Because then you can base your business on it, on something that is not going to change. Once you are aware of this, I think you are able to do slightly more fundamental and far more potent stuff. And that's really, really good.
In one interview, you have mentioned that trends may come and go, but demographics and essentials are the brands. And can you explain that why demographics are so important for a brand strategy in simpler terms, because layman languages are also.
I think look at it from a ordinary person, and I think first ordinary person rather than go slightly esoteric. Think of India as a country. We are a 28-year-old median age.
Okay.
And therefore, we like to build things for the long term, invest into things for the long term. Therefore, what's booming in our country? Education is booming. Mm-hmm. Infrastructure is booming. Building homes is booming. Whereas if you look at some of the countries which are much older, let's say Japan, where average age is 50, China, UK, average age 40, I think their priorities are very different, and rightly so. Their priorities are a lot more about preserving things. So things like healthcare, very important. So in one sense, this decides what's the fundamental nature of and priorities of people that you're talking to. So think or picture in your mind a 28-year-old person. If you're designing businesses for that person, who's going to get married, who's going to get a job, who's going to invest into his long-term future, it would be very different versus a person who's past his prime and possibly in 50s kind of stuff.
You have worked on different industries, you have worked on Colgate, you have worked on Godrej, even home sector, FMCG and all this. Which industry is most dynamic and changing for the brands to establish their trust with the TG through your advertisements? Because every segment have a different types of an advertisement and language, tonality and all these things. So according to which industry is more difficult to talk with the TG?
I think wherever stakes are very high, there I think establishing trust is takes more time.
Okay.
So the more important, so there are categories where you consume you switch brands, you consume them so often, but categories which are once in a lifetime, where the stakes are very high, where you see your own personal imagery into the decision that you're taking. It reflects on who you are as a person, as an identity. I think those categories are slightly more difficult to establish trust in.
Okay.
Now, I think my current category that I'm working for, home building, I think is important not only from a financial point of view, but an average person who's building their home, today the average age is roughly about 30, 32 or so.
Oh.
For them, this is the biggest project of their life. And to an extent, that's made our job really easy because as India's #1 brand and as the brand which is kind of sworn on by architects, engineers for their own homes. I think it plays right into that. But for a Johnny come lately in this category, establishing trust is really, really tough.
True. So you being in UltraTech, it's been like 2016 if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So it's a long duration basically. So out of, you have made many ads and everything. Out of all the ads, which is very campaigns, the one campaign that is very close to you, to your heart.
I think, like you said, you make all the creatives and you invest all your energy behind it. You try and put all the insights that you've gathered out of talking to consumers out of it. But I'll take the yardstick of the ones which have created the greatest amount of business impact.
Okay.
I think we took a tack which was very different versus the rest of the industry, where everybody just talked about more and more hyperboles of strength in the industry. But we took a fairly human angle as to why somebody is making their home and how important is it. And this ad, I think, these sets of ads have resulted in huge amount of business growth for us.
Lovely words.
Yeah.
So it's going so asking questions and things like that. So let's have a little rapid fire. 5 questions we have.
Sure.
Just come to your mind, pick it up one.
Sure.
So first, since you are into seeing this traditional way as well as digital, what do you select? Traditional way of marketing or digital way of marketing?
I think both have their roles. I think it's almost asking, if you're eating, what is better, a knife or a fork, right? Both have their roles. But you've got to make sure that you don't use the knife where a fork is needed and so on and so forth.
Cool. Rightly said, actually. So you have did a lot of campaigns. So what do you choose, whether a campaign with an emotion or a campaign with the satire?
I think emotions always, because I think emotions move the world. Yeah, you can make somebody maybe laugh for a while with a satire, but emotions make permanent impacts.
Which is more difficult, training an employee or giving a lecture to a student? Because I know you are a guest lecturer too.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I think stories do the job both ways, right? If you tell good enough stories, I think it's easy to communicate with both.
What is that one quality that every aspiring marketer should have based on your?
I think curiosity is such an underrated capability.
Yeah.
I think being curious and keep asking the question as to, if this is happening, why is it happening? I think if you've got to be a business person, if you've got to be a marketer, you innately need to be curious.
Right now, there are a lot of aspiring marketers, a lot of MBA graduates are coming across outside each and every, academic.
Sure.
A lot of people are coming across.
Correct.
You have already given answers for some of the pointers, like it should be a curious one. Even if it's a simple question, just ask and get a clarity.
Sure.
But out of it, as a aspiring marketer, that one advice you would give?
I think we are very ambitious people. All of us are very ambitious and very type A people. Okay. Which is that we are very action oriented.
True.
I think in summary, I'll say, don't fall in love with your products or brands. They pay your salary and they're very important. But I think the biggest piece that you bring onto the table is you bring the consumer's voice onto the table.
Okay.
And that adds a lot of value.
True.
Yeah.
True. Love your customers.
Sure. Absolutely.
It was so great, and it was so conversational, insightful. Lot of things have been there. I enjoyed a lot of time, having a conversation with you. I've learned a lot of things today, and thank you so much for such an insightful conversation. It's great you being here and learned a lot of new things. And so may you and UltraTech Cement achieve a greater heights in the year coming up. Best wishes from my side and Kiska brand Bajega team side also.
Thank you so much. I think the questions that you prepared were in the spirit of asking the right question, and they were, I think, probing enough. Interesting stuff, and I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Time for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Kiska brand Bajega, marketing all stars. Today, we have with us a company in the digital segment that's actually taken the insurance industry by storm today. Policybazaar, that we feel is the next big thing in the business space. And today, we have with us Mr. Sai Narayan, the Chief Marketing Officer at Policybazaar. Hi Sai, welcome to Kiska brand Bajega, marketing all stars.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me.
So Sai, when we look at it, Policybazaar has essentially become synonymous with insurance today. So can you take us back to what exactly has been the inception journey of Policybazaar? Were there any challenges that you all faced in this journey? And how did you all try to overcome these challenges throughout the years?
So I'll just quickly tell you, what used to happen early in insurance sector and how Policybazaar kind of, changed the entire game. So earlier, the first policy anyone would have bought, say pre-2008 or, pre-Policybazaar, would be that, first insurance would be bought from your father's best friend, who would be an insurance agent. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you would end up buying it.
Yeah.
So one was that, and the other would be usually when you are an early jobber, you're around 24, 25-year-old, starting your first job, and everyone wants to save on tax, and you would end up buying your life insurance because under Section 80C you can save tax. So those were the pretty much prevalent why insurance was bought. So what Policybazaar came and did was, they established this platform where one could come, compare, and buy a product which they need and not which is sold to them. So that was pretty much the birth of Policybazaar. Making consumers aware of protection, the need for protection, for protecting their families, and also giving them a platform where they could just come and compare all insurance products without any push, and platform where they can get unbiased advice. Right. So that was pretty much the start. So, but the challenge is that no one wakes up in the morning thinking about insurance. No one does that. It's a pretty much a slightly boring category. Yeah. Right? So one of the biggest challenges for Policybazaar was that they had to create a need where consumers start thinking about insurance and the importance of protection. And we could see that today lakhs of customers just come on our site without anyone prodding them, pushing them. Come and compare and choose and buy policies. So that is a sea change that we have seen. Like, for example, from a push category, we've become a pull category, wherein we're pretty much the search engine for insurance in India.
You'll also make use of a lot of star power, right? You all have had Akshay Kumar, you all have Kapil Sharma, right?
Yeah.
So how do you essentially balance using celebrity power to actually reinforce this entire trust aspect?
Yeah.
And what kind of an impact do they eventually end up having on your brand equity?
I'll just quickly tell you our entire campaign pretty much into three phases.
Okay.
The phase one was we were promoting our our marketplace aggregator platform, where the initial phase where we want to tell consumers to come and start comparing insurance. That's when our iconic Ullu Mat Bano campaign was launched. The second phase is when we felt that we need to go beyond just promoting our platform to promoting the category itself. And we found a white space in pretty much in term insurance and health insurance. And because we saw that a lot of other insurance players were not while they were talking about it, not actively putting monies behind this category. So that's where we used the star power of Akshay Kumar to kind of reach out to the tier one. Anyway, we're covering tier 2, tier 3 towns as well. So that was the only time where we consciously used a celebrity to kind of reach out to a larger audience. The third phase of our campaigns, so first was platform, second was category building, and third phase is where are the building trust, wherein so building trust. As I said earlier, we didn't start building trust just to and just started communicating about it. There was a lot of work that happened. We saw the proof in the pudding of people trusting us, and then we started doing the real people, real stories campaign.
Lovely. So now, Sai, moving on to a more fun, a more lighter section, right? A quick rapid fire round. Tell me the first answer that really comes to your mind, right?
Sure.
So if Policybazaar was to come up with a newer mascot, what would that be?
I think it would be R.K. Lakshman's Common Man.
What is one emotion that you all are trying to evoke through all your campaigns that you all do?
I think responsibility is something which we respond to towards their family and towards their own health.
And who do you think is the biggest competitor for Policybazaar today?
I think our biggest competition is consumer inertia.
Perfect. So with that, we come to the end of the rapid fire. And finally, with tech taking on the entire world, you all being a digital first platform, right? How do you think you all are using tech to not only streamline the entire insurance process, that you've wonderfully spoken about previously, but also to enhance customer service, your entire experience, eventually leading to, translating into a better, stronger brand over a period of time?
So the way technology helps is, we have a great platform which is intuitive, has a great UI UX, and also helps them buy without any assistance and with assistance as well. So over the past 14 years, we have data of consumer queries. So what we have done is, we have actually converted all those voice recordings into text. And there is an entire model. What it has done is, it has understood, what is the kind of insurance product. At what point does a consumer buy? At what point does a consumer say declines? So all this is created into different buckets. Which helps us in better service, which is better conversion rates. Then it also helps us go back to the insurance companies and say that, this is what the consumer is saying, and this is the kind of product we should build together. And finally, we have this entire data of, what are the different problems because of which the claims don't get settled. For which what we've done is we've launched this entire program called Claim Samadhan Divas. In which what happens is that when if a consumer's claim gets rejected, what we do is that we take those cases, call the insurance company which has rejected the claim, and sit in a room where a consumer is also there, where if there is a possibility the claim gets approved, and then and there his payment is made.
Talking about the future, what does the future look like for Policybazaar? Are there any new campaigns, new interesting innovation campaigns like this Claim Samadhan Divas, certain initiatives like that? What exactly does the future hold for Policybazaar, Sai?
As I said earlier that, we are still very underpenetrated. One of the slogans that, one of the visions that IRDA has is, Har family hogi insured. So our objective would be that, I think it's pretty much what I've spoken earlier, which is that, how can we help create more and more awareness, and more young people to middle age group to elder people, for how can we create an insurance product which cuts across all categories. Again, keep talking about, keep educating consumers, and have a great claims experience. So yeah, that's what.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sai. It's honestly been a true pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you.
A lot of different insights also, that we got to know about the insurance space. So wishing you and Policybazaar all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
That's all for today's episode of Kiska Brand Bajega Marketing All Stars. We'll be back next week, same day, same time. Until then, take care.